second for at least one person to show up. There might be someone here though. These live notifications aren't always reliable. A lot of times it'll tell me one person's watching or two, and then at the end of the video I'll see that 18 people were watching, and I'm like, it's very strange. Very new to live streaming. Alright, wow. Welcome to Jessica in Rainbowland. I don't think I can use my thumb hole while playing ukulele. Welcome to my kids show for adults. This is very much a show for adults, even though I have a childlike quality. I'm going to talk about lots of very adult themes. So if you're a kid and you feel a lot of heavy feelings, feel free to watch, but otherwise this is very much an adult kids show for adults. Alright. So, the reason that opening theme song is so cutesy, though, is because I lifted it from my half-finished kids show, which may never be finished, but, you know, it is what it is. Alright, so, this show, it's very episodic, and it has a lot of little segments. I'll show you, you can advance all the segments I will be taking you through. And there's also a closing song. So far we have done the welcome and the theme song. So I'm going to kind of take you around my house and take you through all these different topics. And yeah, hopefully you get something from watching me today. So the first segment is called the music lesson. I like to make pretend theme songs for each segment. Music lesson. Dun-dun-dun-dun. Okay, so we are going to head over to the piano because that is my most comfortable instrument, even though I have a wide array of ukuleles, gitaleles. That's a gitalele. That's a ukulele. There's another one. I think there's more. I don't know where they are, but anyway. But we're going to head over to the piano because, you know, that's what my conservatory training is on, and so I can teach the easiest from there. So if you would like to catch up, today is episode 8. If you would like to catch up, I have been putting all of the back shows onto my YouTube channel. Just go to YouTube and search Jessica in the Rainbow, and you will see a wide assortment of videos labeled Jessica in the Rainbow in Rainbowland. So, and the music lesson is always the first segment. So, I'm going to try not to repeat everything from the past music lessons, so if you can't keep up, go on back. It's all free. You don't have to give me money. You maybe don't want to give me money. Sorry, I'm caught on my chair. And that is totally fine. So, okay, so far with the music lesson segments, we have talked about how to know how to be in the key of C. So that's a C. We've talked about do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. We've talked about chord scales. We've talked about chord progressions. We've talked about how to make chord progressions sound. Let's see, if I flip, it's all going to look backwards, but we've talked a little about how to make chord progressions sound fuller like a pop song. I realize you're probably seeing this inverted right now, which is really disorienting for me. It looks like my left hand is my right hand, and my right hand is my left hand, and low is high, and high is low, and I know that's distracting. Anyway, so if you want to hear about any of those themes, I think there's quite a few more. They're all on the previous episodes. So for today, we are going to talk about transposing. Start on, blah, 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 blah. Okay, that was a note to myself. So, transposing. So let's talk about it. So, if this is a C, and if this is a do, say you're a singer and you know this says do, and I'm telling you that C is the only key on the piano that uses all white keys, and that has to do with whole, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step, which is the way you build any major scale. And we talked about this mostly yesterday and I believe the day before. So again, check those YouTube videos out if you're curious more about that. But assuming you've been watching all along or that you know all that already, now we can build a do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do in the key of C. We can build all the chords in the key of C. So say I know all of this and someone tells me, let's play a pop song in the key of C, like Imagine. Blah, 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 blah. I'm trying not to steal things, copyright issues, you know. Blah, 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 blah. I should do like what they do on The Simpsons and like change the change the melody a little bit. So let's just take that much of the song Imagine. And so if Imagine were in the key of C, so here's a C, and this is a C chord. I think that's from episode 2, if you want to learn more about chords. I actually don't know for sure. I would have to check all my records. So if this is a C chord, and we're in the key of C, which is like saying this is a do, and this is a chord built off the do. And chords are always every other note. So if this is a C chord, or a chord built off the do, then if I go do, re, mi, fa, then this next chord is a chord built off the fa. So this is the chord that goes with the do, with the re, with the mi, with the fa. And so the beginning of Imagine, and you know, the way he plays it isn't exactly like this, but the simplistic version of the beginning of Imagine is like that. And obviously I could break it up, but we're going to talk about future shows. So I'm just going to play it 4 times, and then 4 times. And you could sing along. I mean, I don't see why this would have copyright issues. I'm not making any money. Blah, blah, blah. So to talk about today's topic of transposing, what we need to do is assume a new do. So let's assume a very different do. We're going to use a circle of fifths to find the next do. So we're going to go up 5 notes. And we're going to start to learn about the key of G. Now, why did I go to that one? Well, let's talk about it. This is the do, or we're going to say the word start. This is the start. And then from start, we're going to go up. You remember that pattern? It's whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. Or you could say the sentence, we walked home when we walked home. So you'd say the word start, and then you skip 1 note. I think that's 1 or 2 episodes ago. Hi, Brian. I want to wave at Brian. Oh, I don't know how to wave. I don't have a wave emoji showing up. Hi, Brian. I think it's Brian's first time coming to the show. Love you. All right, flipping it back. So, so if we're here, and this is do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Let's talk about why it is. So we do whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. Or a sentence you can say to remember that is, we walked home when we walked home. And so you'd say, in order to measure distances, you usually, the easiest way to measure distances is not to do that. It's just to say the word start. And then you say whole. And remember, a whole is 2 things. That's from a couple episodes ago. 2 things. You're skipping over this thing. So, start, whole, whole, because I skipped over this thing, and now half, because there was no thing to skip over, right? So, start, whole, whole, half, and now we're going to do, or start, we walked home, right? And now we're going to say when we walked home. So, you're going to skip this. When we walked. So here we're getting into that first weird whole step. And so we talked about those a couple episodes ago, but do you remember how a whole step is just, it's my whole annoyance with the concept of half and whole. But a whole step, you just want to think 2 things. Hi, Dutcher. So Dutcher knows this stuff for sure. So this is some basic stuff, but here we go. So you're going to start over again. And like I said, when we're using C as do, then you'd say start, whole, whole, half, because there it is, and then whole, 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 half. And here's that other half, where there's nothing in between either of these. So C is the easiest one on piano. So, you know, you're just, the whole concept of whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half is all white keys in C. And like I said, we're coming up the circle of fifths. Aw, hi, Dutcher, thanks. teaching some basic piano. You guys are on my music lesson segment. This comments thing is fun. All right, so we've got from a few days ago, we have start, whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half, and you can follow an old video for that. But now today we're doing the key of G, and we're talking about transposing. So we're going to bring it back to imagine in a second. And so if you say start when you hit a G, you get whole, whole, half, and I'm tucking my thumb under. Don't worry about that for now. But do you see how that's half? Because we're not skipping anything. So it's weak. I call half one thing and whole two things. So start, whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. And so see how that's a half step? There's nothing between those, but that's a whole step. And so there's one thing between those. So this is how we start to play, you know, weird combinations of notes. We don't want to get into that yet, but to bring it back to transposing and to bring it back to pop music, if we're doing a super simplistic version of Imagine, and we're back with a C as our do, and that's the key of C. So if that's our do now, and that's a C chord, or a chord built on the do, and then we go up to the F chord, and that's a chord built on the fa, do, re, mi, fa. You can see it, do, re, mi, fa. And then I just come back and and you can just sing along. I know this is a very simple one-handed version because I'm holding my phone. You can be like, imagine there's no blah, blah. Blah, 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 blah. And now for the final magic trick, we are going to transpose today. And we'll get more into a complicated version of this in the future, but to transpose that song, we're going to now pretend G is our do. Well, we're not going to pretend. It really is going to be our do. And so this is the new scale that we're using. And then this is the new chord scale that we're using. Now, every time I get near this F, even for the chords, I have to change it to this F sharp. So this is what my student Kieran calls a chord scale. You could also just say it's all the chords in the key of G. So G chord, A minor, B minor, C major, D, but like I said before, you don't have to say major, you can just say D, E minor, F sharp diminished, G major. Now, we're going to play Imagine. And if I were a soprano, I could sing it for real. Imagine there's no blah, blah. Oh, I guess I can sing it there. Blah, 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 blah. And you can see it in the G scale. This is the do, so this is the re, this is the mi, this is the fa. So I'm still going the same distance. Blah, 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 blah. And that's why singers can always be changing the sound of a song. Let's actually come down here. I would probably do it down here. Imagine. I'd even sing it though. Imagine there's no, I wouldn't. Blah, blah. But a guy could sing it down there, or someone with an even lower voice than me. And so that's how you transpose a song. I took a very simple one to kind of show you the trick, and obviously I could do more of the fancy stuff. But that's getting into a different, I've never done this. You'd do it like that. I just don't have my other hand free, and then this hand would be like that. Anyway, that is how you can transpose a song to any different key. Now, if you want to know a really good hack, this is one that I use all the time with my students. Go on ultimateguitar.com. It's got a little hyphen in it. That's why I paused. So, ultimate-guitar.com. Those actually have a transpose button. So, you literally just pull up any tabs or chord sheets, and it's going to tell you the lyrics, and it's going to have chords on all the lyrics, and you can hit the transpose button. And what I tell my, ooh, this is like a trade secret. No, it's not. Whatever, you know. If you want to pay me for piano lessons, I get way more advanced than this. Feel free, you can reach out. I teach all virtually these days, so you can join my piano student family. No, but what I was going to say is, if you want to be able to play a song quickly and you don't have very advanced skills yet, you can hit that transpose button. I'm giving it away. It's so simple. I'm going to start giving everything away. It's fine. I have an income these days. I have all my students have transferred to virtual, and it's been wonderful. This is not even a trade secret. People in my life have told me I should make like a real class and, you know, and like really make a class so I could make money because I'm often very poor. So I always feel weird giving away all my info, but whatever. Give things away, people. It doesn't matter. This is not a trade secret. It's very simplistic. Okay, hit the transpose button until all the sharps go away. You're welcome. When all the sharps go away, you'll probably be in the key of C or maybe G, but just not a certain, you know, chords that are like the F sharp diminished chord, and it'll just make the song easier to play. It won't sound exactly the same as the real thing, obviously, but yeah, just hit that transpose button and it'll be easier if you see sharps. And Ultimate Guitar has a humongous flaw, which is that they don't use flat keys, which means a whole other thing I won't get into today because this segment was kind of long today. All right, moving on to the next segment. It's time for the doodle share. All right, so we are going to go over to the doodle chair. There it is. And we're going to pull that up. And we're going to go into the doodle notebook today. And yeah, open it on up. Go past some old doodles. And this is the doodle we're going to draw today. Now, this little doodle, this is the one I showed you last time. There's the little girl. She's in my new music video, my first lyric music video. That little snail was the first doodle in the doodle share. Whoops, I can't even see him because of the plant. All right, so for today, I'm going to show you how I draw this cute little flying girl. I mean, don't forget, the point of the doodle share segment of the show is not to teach you how to do these wonderfully complex doodles that clearly involve lots of art school. The point of the doodle share segment, I'll show you my face for this. The point of the doodle share segment is to remind you to doodle, is to remind you to use your time, use your life, to create things that bring you joy, and then to share them with others. So whether that's making homemade cards for people, whether that is maybe you did go to art school, maybe it's painting things for people. You know, maybe you, like my mom, owned a paint your own pottery business, and it's just about enjoying your life and your skills. Like, I think I didn't get to have any art classes past maybe 7th grade, and I wish I had. But they started making you choose between things, and so I often had to choose between music and art or theater or other things, and so I didn't get to keep learning how to do art, but I love art. Like when I was in elementary school, I found this out as an adult. My grades in art, this is what my mom said, my grades in art were higher than my grades in music. And so, you know, who knows for what reason, maybe I was more playful in art when I was younger, and maybe in music it felt more rule-based. I have no idea. But, and also, who cares? Grades. I mean, not, that's a complicated topic. I have lots of mixed feelings about grades, even though I had good grades. I mean, grades are essentially judgment or assessment, which, you know, to bring it back to doodles, I would not be getting the best grades in doodles, but that's okay. I had a quote-unquote real artist one time tell me that one of my doodle videos was really great, and I was really confused because, you know, at this level of art. But, I don't know, it really makes you think. You know, I think we're all too hard on ourselves. I really do. Because I never wanted to share my drawings or my doodles, but like, why not? Why not keep doing it and enjoying it? So, here you go. Hair. I always start with the hair. 5, 6, 7. I always do 7 strands, or I try to. Then, it's a little sloppy because I'm looking at it in the screen, sorry. Then I do that. The dress. Then the legs. Also, my pen is bent. Where's the screen? And then, let's see, then I do the arms. And then she flies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe 5. I don't know. There you go. Flying girl. Let's call her Petunia. Because I already have a Jessica. There you go. So don't forget to doodle. Doodling's fun. And yeah, you can turn your doodles into videos with all kinds of video software. One of my piano students makes flip books, and they're very, very cute. Hi, Finn. Or no, wait, kids aren't watching my show. This is a show for adults. I know it seems childlike so far, but this is very much a show for adults. But one of my students makes flip books, and when I showed him that I do the same thing kind of, but with my doodles, and I turn my doodles into like music videos, and I showed him just the tiniest bit of it, and he was like, whoa, and I was like, yeah, you can do this with your flip books. Like, you could just take a picture of all your flip books, and then, you know, there's so much software for this nowadays. It's really easy. And the thing is, it's not like you're gonna get like famous or new subscribers off this. Like, I'm not any of those types of things. It's more just that you will enjoy your life. So that's what I'm trying to pass on to people, to my students, to everybody, is, you know, it's not about being famous. It's not about, hi, Christy. That's my old boss, where I first learned a lot about piano teaching, actually, back in Chicago. So, you know, like I'm saying, it's not about being famous. It's about, like, fame is a messed up hierarchy, because that means one person's up here and we're all subtly worshiping them and or wanting to be them. That's like royalty. It's about enjoying your life. Like, if that person up there has something that you want, don't spend your whole life staring at them wishing you had what they have. Look, be where you are. Look at what they have. If there's something they have that you want, you know, sure, feel what you actually naturally feel about that thing that they have. But then, like, use your current life, use your current resources to just be the thing that you want to be. Like, it's fame is a very complicated topic. That is not what today's show is about. But, you know, that's what the Doodle Share segment is about. It's me pointing out to you that starting with what you are and what you have, you can start to use your life to enjoy your life and to share it with the people who are currently in your life, who maybe, you know, they love you and enjoy you in a specific, the people who are currently in your life love you and enjoy you in a specific way. Oh my gosh, I'm still talking. I thought I was transitioning. So the people in your current life right now love you and enjoy you in a specific way that is like you being famous to the people in your current life, whether it's one friend or a million friends. Well, no one has a million friends, but, you know, the people in your inner circle already appreciate you, so you can become, oh, this is so weird, this is not what I was going to talk about, but you can become like famous to those people. In other words, who you are and what you are, the specific qualities that you have, whether it's you're like me and you love doodling, you know, it doesn't matter. Whatever your specific qualities are, if you begin to share them with the people in your circle, that's probably, I could be wrong, but that's probably the thing you're looking for. Like, if you're here and you're constantly worshiping something way up here, you're probably just looking for the experience that person is having. Maybe there's someone who openly shares their songs or their art or their ideas and their message and their love with the world. Like, I clearly had an obsession with, like, Mr. Rogers and all that Muppety stuff. And the solution for me has not been go rush businesses like PBS and try to get them to turn me into some sort of show or some sort of thing. The solution for me is beginning to share with the people right around me. And then that starts to ripple outward. Maybe, but maybe not. So that part doesn't matter as much. But I do think, yeah, fame, that's it's too much like royalty. Like, we should be just beginning to share and be more transparent with the people right around us. And not everyone will love what you do, so that's not what it's about either. But okay, I've never shared that kind of stuff in this segment before, so let's go on. Hey guys. All right. Next up, show and tell. Speaking of that topic, my show and tell for today, I'm gonna turn this around. My show and tell for today, and again, I do the show and tell segment. This show starts out kind of a little lighter and gets pretty heavy towards the end, but this is the lighter beginning portion. My show and tell for the day on this topic, because children don't have a problem with this. Children just share, they just create. My niece, Brooklyn, So she made me this drawing, and she was younger by quite a bit, and she didn't maybe understand the logic of a sentence like Jessica in the rainbow, because who even understands why I said in? When I was first making the name Jessica in the Rainbow, I was going to make Jessica and the Rainbow, like a band name, and then I wasn't sure if I would ever be a band, so I changed it to Jessica in the Rainbow because I think that when you've had a lot of trauma and a lot of emotions and a lot of things in your life, you know, well, anyway, being in the rainbow, that's like healing. I don't know. I don't really know totally what my name means, but Jessica in the Rainbow. So she made this, but she called it, let's see, Jessica, she forgot the A. She was much younger. In the Rainbow, she made. And so that's just something that means a lot to me. And then I found out later that I thought she had also made this rainbow, but I think that's my nephew who made that one because my sister told me that my nephew Sawyer puts little black centers in the bottom of his rainbows. So, yeah. So I've had that hanging on my wall, and we would have house shows, and that was like, you know, like a front centerpiece kind of thing. That's my show and tell for the day. That's just something in my house that means a lot to me and brings me joy. And so this segment of the show is also to inspire you to, A, surround yourself with things that make you feel joy, including, like, I wear frog slippers. I've worn the frog ones all week. I wore the lambs last week. It could be stuffed animals. It could be little knickknacks on your piano. It could be anything. But when you surround yourself with things that bring you joy, like, it just really makes a difference, I think. And then the reason for the show and tell segment is because I think that sharing those things with each other is really uplifting. I said this a few shows ago, but my niece and I, one day, now that she's a little older, we tried to spend some time together on FaceTime, and we used to not know what to do, because, like, what do you even talk about? And then we just, I think it's because I had started this show and was already in a show and tell mode, we just both started going around, and then her little brother did it with me yesterday. We just started going around the house and just showing each other things we had in our house. And, you know, she's young. It was just fun. But you could do this with adults too. Like, why not? You could just, I don't know, FaceTime's cool. Just trying to think of ways to make being homebound a little more fun. Lighthearted, I guess. Okay, next segment. Dun, 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 dun. So the next segment, I always forget about it, but the next segment on my script is imaginary power. So let's do it today. Yesterday I forgot about it because it was a newer segment. Imaginary power. All right. So today, the imaginary power is flying. We're going to fly together. So let's see. I'm going to sit, I don't know, I'm going to sit on the floor for this. And I'm going to get my next segment all set up while I start talking about this. So, imaginary power. I'm ruining my puzzle. The imaginary power segment. Oh, wait, we're not in the book segment yet. Not in the doodle chair. We are there. That'll be the imaginary power plant. Oh, wait, doodle chair. I'm trying to create different spaces for this show. No, it's in there. Oh, I know. I have all these suitcases. These are my merchandise suitcases where we have, we keep, like, the Jessica in the Rainbow shirts are in this one, and Cloudlight shirts are in this one, and this one. Here we go. So, we will focus on the suitcases for this one, for this segment. Okay. Imaginary power. So, the only point of this segment is to remind you that your mind is a superpower. It's a power. And with your mind, you can go places. I think yesterday in the imaginary power segment, I took people on a trip to Hawaii. But that wasn't really meant to be the point of this segment. It's not really to imaginary travel, but it's kind of to talk with you about all of our abilities to use our minds for creating whatever type of life and thoughts we want to have. So I think the first day that I brought this up, I used it to talk about very deep subjects. And then the next day I brought it up is when we went pretend to Hawaii. So today is kind of a hybrid of the two. This is meant to be a deep subject, even though it seems like I'm being silly by saying, let's pretend to fly together. But this is actually a very deep subject. So, all right, let's do this. So the point of the imaginary power segment is to remind you that all day long you're using your mind. You are choosing what to think about, choosing what to focus on. And it often doesn't feel like you're choosing it. It often feels like it's choosing you, like you can't get your mind off something. But with lots of practice, or even just a little practice, you can start to be a lot more in control of this. And I know for a fact that everybody can do this, because you can be choosing to watch comedies, or you can choose to watch like a horror show. Like, we are all making a choice every day. So that's your choice. And what you choose to put in your brain is your choice. And some people maybe can't do as much of the active imagination stuff as I can, but that's because I've been doing it for over a decade. And I choose not to watch like horror shows or other things like that. Like, that's just something I do for myself. And it has made me more sensitive, and not necessarily in an always functional way, but that's okay. So I'm not telling you what to do on that topic, but I am trying to point out to you that you truly do have the choice. Like, you have power to choose what you think about. Even if, you know, maybe you don't have it when you're lying in bed at night. Maybe then it feels like your mind is taking over you rather than you taking over your mind. And I do believe that's true, especially in times of emotional stress. But in your waking active hours, you can do things like this. So, we're going to pretend to fly together. So, this is very strange. But that's how you begin to have sort of a power of imagination. So, let's imagine we're standing in our front yards for no real reason. And imagine you are just standing there, and you're looking up at the sky, and the clouds are looking cute. And if it helps you, if you really can't get around reality, and unreality is too strange to you, you can imagine you're in a dream right now. Like if you've ever seen the movie Waking Life, maybe you're in Waking Life, and you're just in this floaty, not real, surreal kind of place. And you're looking up at the clouds. There's not that many of them. The sky's very blue. It's sunny out. It's beautiful. And before you know it, you're looking up, and your feet just start to lift off the ground. And you're not even that surprised by it, because you're in a sort of semi-dream state, and you're just like, oh, cool. And then your feet are up in the air, and then, you know, I don't know what kind of flyer you are in dreams, but the way I fly in dreams is very zoomy. So I just zoom. Like, I don't flap my arms like a bird, because then that's like work, you know. Who wants to work for flying? So I'm just kind of float flying, a little bit like Peach from Mario. And mine is usually on a slant, kind of like my little flying girl. Let's get her. So if this helps you to see her, you know, you're just kind of floating, taking off. And that's it. You're just kind of up in the air, and you're just flying. I mean, maybe this is kind of like a visualizing, like a meditation practice, to visualize things like this. I don't ever really sit around and intentionally visualize this, but I put this in my show because I want to point out to people that you can, especially with help, you can choose different thoughts. And if you're like me and you've spent a lot of your life in either panic or fear or anxiety or depression or any of those types of things because of traumas, because of whatever, because, it doesn't matter what the reason is. Like, that's still you choosing to put value in that kind of sadness or that kind of heaviness. And so you can choose to stop putting value in that, and you can choose instead to put value in, I'm going to pretend with a random group of people coming on to watch my pretend / now it's kind of real show, because I do it every weekday, you know, like you can put value in that instead. And you can put value in anything. You can choose where you want to prioritize and use your time. So there you go. Imaginary power on flying. Here we go. Next segment. It's time for the book report. Okay, I got my little book stand and my bookshelf. And I haven't put a filter on yet today, have I? I meant to. Let's see what we got. Let's just go with classic hearts. Okay. So, today's book. Let's find it. Oh, probably over here. Ooh, these seem really high up today. Or I'm just sitting cross-legged for the first time in a while. Let's go a little lower. There we go. All right. Oops. Maybe that won't work. That won't work. This is slanted upward. Let's do that. Oops. There we go. Okay. Guess I don't need to elevate with books when I'm sitting on the floor. So today's book for the book report is this book, Love is Letting Go of Fear. So, this is a book that was given to me when I was a freshman in college. I used to have what I called yelling brain. I think it was anxiety, just kind of spiraling out of control. It was just really, there were a lot of things, a lot of feelings, and, you know, new space, new time, and I'm in a dorm, and I have a roommate, I don't know her, and it was just, there was a lot of stress in transitioning from my childhood life to college. I was kind of spiraling out of control for different reasons because I had had a really hard last few years of high school. Some really bad things happened to me. And so I'd be laying in bed, you know, just feeling completely overwhelmed by anxiety, panic, all kinds of things. And anyway, my roommate was the sweetest person ever. Her name was Sarah. And I never know whether or not to say last names. I kind of want to respect personal privacy, I guess. I don't know who's watching this really that would know her. But anyway, her name was Sarah. And so one day she gave me this book. And it was a little bit hippie-ish for me at the time, even though I was hippie-ish in terms of like wearing hippie-looking things. I wasn't like hippie-ish in my mind. And why is that even a negative word? All I know is at the time I was a very critical person. I was borderline agnostic or atheist at the time because I was so hurt by so many things that had happened, and I was just angry at the world and at people. Anyway, she gave me this book. She was very non-pushy about it, but she gave it to me. And I don't read it very often. It mostly just sits on my shelf, but this is the exact copy she gave me. And yeah, there's some really good ideas in here. Love is letting go of fear. One thing that has been a through line from this book through other books I've read is this idea that you can't feel love and fear at the same time. And that stuck with me like crazy because it feels incredibly true. If you're in fear, that just there isn't room for love in that. Fear is very all-encompassing. And so if you really want to feel differently in your skin, in your day, in your life, I recommend putting your mind power and your focused power on love, and it will start to pull you out of fear. One way to do that is like gratitude lists. Just looking around at what you love, what you feel grateful for, it does start to pull you out of sort of an excessive fear. Not in a like delusional way, like you'll still feel aware of reality, but I feel like reality actually starts to kind of change when you focus more on love. It's kind of like, where else does like a Bernie Sanders... Weird. Am I still live? This is crazy. So there was a call trying to come through, and I will call them back. So, here we go. I'm going to read you from this book. So it starts with, my present happiness is all I see. All fear is past and only love is here. Those are little like quotes on the side, so here we go. What is real? I'll get closer in case it's too quiet. These things are always really quiet. What is real? Most of us are confused about what is real. Even though we sense there is something more, we attempt to settle for a reality based exclusively on feedback from our physical senses. To reinforce this reality, we look to what our culture defines as normal, healthy, and therefore real. Yet where does love fit into this scheme of things? Wouldn't our lives be more meaningful if we looked to what has no beginning and no ending as our reality? Only love capital L, love. Oh, that's backwards. Sorry. Only love fits this definition of the eternal. Everything else is transitory and therefore meaningless. Fear, capital F, fear, always distorts our perception and confuses us as to what is going on. Love is the total absence of fear. Love asks no questions. Its natural state is one of extension and expansion, not comparison and measurement. Love, then, is really everything that is of value, and fear can offer us nothing because it is nothing. Although love is always what we really want, we are often afraid of love without consciously knowing it, and so we may act both blind and deaf to love's presence. Yet, as we help ourselves and each other let go of fear, we begin to experience a personal transformation. We start to see beyond our old reality as defined by the physical senses, and we enter a state of clarity in which we discover that all minds are joined, that we share a common self, capital S self, and that inner peace and love are in fact all that are real. With love as our only reality, with love as our only reality, health and wholeness can be viewed as inner peace, and healing can be seen as letting go of fear. Love, then, is letting go of fear. And I want to show you whether there's people on like live right now or just my future YouTube channel, because I save all of these for my YouTube channel. So love, then, is letting go of fear. Old films. So this is what the next segment is about. And most of us, I think, replay the past, which is what the next part is about. You know, how we're constantly replaying the past. They kind of just put little little pictures all throughout. Past guilt, future fear. Prediction versus peace. Love, past, future. So love being about getting into the now, which I've talked about in different episodes. So just the sort of balancing act that we're all constantly doing and how stressful that can be, as opposed to just having a singleness of goal, being peace of mind. So I guess the last thing I'll say on that is, for this segment, is it can feel really selfish to have a peace of mind goal. In 2017, I really felt selfish for trying to uplift people because there was a lot of talk among circles that I was part of that was somehow like checking out, and like that was worse than being like a Nazi, was being like a person who just turned a blind eye and just tried to have peace of mind and spread peace of mind, and that was treated like something really negative, and I got really confused during that era. I know it's weird to call an era like a year or two, but 2017 was kind of messed up for me because I just saw all of this like soapboxing and ranting, and if you're not fighting for every cause, then you're part of the problem, and if you're ever pursuing peace of mind or love and light and trying to spread that you are whitewashing people's experiences, and it just got really dark against people who wanted to seek light or who wanted to find light in themselves. Even if I wasn't saying it outward to anyone, I felt that there was a real negativity being projected at anybody trying to take a deep breath and just find a collective calm, ever. It was treated as like you're checking out and you're not doing enough. And I've seen some of those people since then burn out and completely narrow their focus. And so this is not to call those people out, it's to call that behavior out. That behavior was wrong. And I had already been through too much trauma and negativity in my life. I already knew that, and I was watching people younger than me become like missionaries, it almost seemed like, for fighting every cause. And I'm talking of all religions and of none. And it doesn't work. So if you're somebody that is very sensitive to energy, to people's opinions, if you're easily bullied, if you're easily put down, and you're typically a little more of a follower, you may have been very affected by that, because that was the tone. It was on Facebook. It was in real life. There was just this general tone of negativity in the name of helping everyone. And what I had to come to learn in myself is that you can't help everyone. Like, I cannot help hardly anyone. Like, you can't. And so, you know, Brian's coming down. I'm waving through the screen. Oh, he's just using the restroom. Anyway, you can, you know, you can help the people right in front of you, and you can have high ideals, but it's very difficult to be like globally helpful, and it is not selfish to turn inward. It is not selfish to focus on how to manage your own mood, your own feelings, or how to manage and help people just right around you, and not focus on the whole of the global, because the whole globally gets done by each of us focusing locally. And locally can be the people physically closest to you, or it can be the people like the longest standing friendships, or your family and friends. Even if they're all spread out all over, that's your local. And it is not selfish to focus your energy and focus your peace on that. So I hope that's helpful. But I needed to learn that over the last few years, so that's why I like to share it. All right, next segment. Oops, it's telling me to rotate my phone, but I'm trying to flip it. Okay, here we go. Moving on to the next segment. Feeling your feelings. All right, so we're going to go to the feelings chair. Dun, dun, dun. Sorry. And here it is. We're going to move the extra ukulele. There's always a lot of them. And let's see. Let's get everything set back up. Hope you're doing well today. Here we go. And then I'm going to change the filter. So today's feeling, while I'm, oops, I didn't mean to flip it. I meant to change the filter. So today's feeling, in the Feeling Your Feelings segment is, it's like I'm not planning to talk about a specific feeling. Normally I share thoughts about specific feelings, like grief. Well, that's a collection of feelings. Despair, discouragement. Today I actually wanted to talk about how to, it's a little strange, but I'm going to talk about this, how to create or generate feelings. This is a bit complicated and also very simple, very doable, and also sounds very almost delusional. And yet we're going to talk about it because it's important. So feeling your feelings and creating or generating feelings. So first of all, that's an unpopular view, but I do believe we can create and generate feelings. So say you're in the middle of, I'm going to share this. Okay, say you're in the middle of a fight with your partner or with a friend. You can, so you're feeling whatever you're feeling, and then say you're both aware you're feeling something kind of heavy. You can, like, almost like, it's like it's a choice, first of all, which gets back to the imaginary power segment. It's a choice. It's also, it's drastic. It comes from outside the current reality. So if the current reality is you're both feeling a lot of heavy feelings or sad feelings or angry feelings, and then you make a choice, which is a thought. It's more like a moment of inspiration to insert a different behavior into that argument or that conversation. And I don't even just mean a fight with your partner. It could be someone you love and you're just having a deep conversation and you're both getting really negative and you're spiraling down and you're talking about end of the world kind of stuff, or who knows. And it's like a choice. This is how you create or generate a different feeling. You also generate a different conversation. You choose to, in that moment, insert a different line of thought, a different. You could do something drastic, like tell a joke. You could be totally silly. You could just make a weird sound. And what happens, it's a ripple effect, because we're all reacting to everything. And so if you were in a pattern, in a flow, and you're going down, down, down into something that feels dark, like, and you're getting depressed or you're getting anxious in whatever you're talking about with somebody, or in whatever you're fighting about with somebody, and you insert a different thing into that moment with the two people, like, you will change the feelings. Now, sometimes the other person won't go with you. Like, say you try to insert a joke and they're like, no, I need you to take this seriously. Now, I don't really have anyone in in my life like that anymore, but I remember what that felt like. I've had that before. And so you try to change or lighten the mood and someone says, no, don't do that. then they're saying, no, we are going to stay down here. Now, if that doesn't feel healthy for you, then you can walk away. And some people may even try to tell you that walking away is selfish, and no, you need to stay and engage. And I'm telling you, in my 10, 20 years of researching feelings, which is what I basically have spent my life doing, I will tell you that that's manipulative. And that if you feel that it is right to walk away, if a person is saying, you're not allowed to lighten the mood, you have to stay down here in this mood with me. But if they're also saying that you're not allowed to walk away, you have to stay in this feeling with me, then that's manipulative. They're requiring you to be in that feeling with them, and you can say no. You can be like, no, I disagree with you. We are not going to stay in this feeling. I do not want to continue creating. I don't want to co-create this feeling with you. I don't want to generate this feeling through. I don't want to co-create it. I don't want to be part of this feeling. And so if you just got here, the Feeling Your Feelings segment today is about creating and generating feelings. And we create our feelings by what we focus on. And so this is, and I'm not saying, your anxiety is your fault, your depression is your fault. I'm not saying that because I don't think we're taught this in our culture. And because we're not taught this in our culture, we don't know how to do this on a regular basis. And because we don't know how to do this, we feel like a victim to our own feelings, and it creates a cycle. And so it's all this big, crazy mess. And so like I've said before, the Feeling Your Feelings segment should really be called Thinking About Your Feelings, because I'm trying to share how I've learned to think about feelings differently. And by learning to think about feelings differently, I feel different. So all of this, so yeah, today's topic, this is the strangest one I've ever talked about. It's the most meta, which is adorable because my friend Meta just showed up from Denmark. Hi, Meta. And my sister. And Monty. All these people. I love you all. That's cool. Anyway, yes. So to get meta, not like my friend Meta, but like meta, like as in, existential, like we're referring to the thing. You know what I mean, meta. But this is the most meta I've ever been in the Feeling Your Feelings segment, because creating and generating your feelings, if I tell you that I think we create our feelings, then doesn't that invalidate feelings entirely? Well, now are they all entirely fake? No, they're 100% real. It's just that they're fluid and they're alterable and they're suggestible and they change. They change. It's like liquid or solid or gas, or I don't really know how that works. My sister's the science one. Sorry, I had to cough. Also, I wanted to give you an example. This is an example of how I change my feelings. I surround myself with things that make me feel good. And you can be in the midst of some of the bleakest thoughts about the bleakest things. And it's very hard to stay there when you see a bear you got at the Build-A-Bear workshop. Oh, he's wearing the flower crown, and this is something my boyfriend and I did together, like as a date. And you see that. I mean, it's going to alter your feelings. And it really works. It truly works. I thought that little emoji was puking, but I think it's laughing. Thanks. I think that was probably my sister. This is a little Kleenex box one of my students' moms made me a long time ago. There's no tissue in it anymore, but she embroidered Jessica in the Rainbow on a tissue box. How can you not feel better? I buy these types of things at the Dollar Tree. I'm not telling you to do it the way I do it. Everyone's different. Everyone has a different aesthetic. But it's putting the flower crown on people. But how can you not feel better when you surround yourself with things that bring you joy? Oh, there isn't a puke emoji on the side here, but this is what it looks like. Thanks, Stephanie. Thanks for the clarification. That's really helpful. Oh, here, I'll show you another example. This kind of stuff makes me feel better. This is my friend Ryan's art. And so Ryan Wyrick is a very special artist to me because something about Ryan's art makes me feel the same types of if I was feeling low or depressed or kind of sad, his art doesn't feel like fake cute happy to me. He just feels, let me see if I have any more. He feels kind of whimsical happy to me. I didn't mean to go down the Ryan Wyrick show and tell hole, and see, he writes create. Just a good reminder to use your life to to make beautiful and or interesting and or weird things. You know, good afternoon. I see this like weirdo bird on my piano and I'm just like, this is so cute. So I have tons of, Ryan Wyrick is also the main artist that does album covers for me. So a bunch of my most beautiful artistic album covers are just his art, and, you know, he just lets me use it, or he creates it with me. And, you know, it's an example of, like, that makes me feel both peaceful and cutesy at the same time. And it's just, you just surround yourself with things that make you feel what you want to feel. And by doing that, you create more of those feelings, and the more you create those feelings, the more you feel those feelings, and the more you feel those feelings, the more you authentically and naturally create them. And it's a spiral upwards, the same way we can spiral downwards. And I don't even know if it's directional, but that's what it feels like to me. It's like flying. It's like the imaginary power thing today where I said, like, to imagine your feet lifting off the ground. It's like that. The last thing I'll say on this Feeling Your Feelings segment, I wrote down, oh, I was supposed to talk about this. This is kind of deep. I don't know if this is the last thing I'll say on this kind of topic to bring up, but I'm going to bring it up because I read from the book Love is Letting Go of Fear. This may help you. It helps me. The reason I used to struggle so much with how to be loving, it's a little like how I used to be overwhelmed if I watched anything about Martin Luther King or Bernie Sanders or anyone that really, with their feet on the ground, really gets in there and does work for other people with their life and their time. And that would make me feel selfish, like, whoa, I'm not that strong. I'm always just like hiding out in my own little private world and making music and hoping to be helpful that way. And then I would secretly feel a little selfish, and it's a very conflicted emotion. And I've learned that if it's conflicted and it feels gross, then it's probably something that's poisoning any usefulness I would have. And so I try not to get lost in thoughts like that. But I wrote down this. Creating and generating feelings. Oh yeah, you can see that. I'll flip it and show you. Creating and generating feelings. That's what I was going to talk about today. And then I wrote an arrow. Love. So I was trying to, what I wanted to get into today is how to generate love feelings, or what love really is. That it should feel like flight, buoyancy, like, I don't know what that, oh, gratitude. I couldn't read my own writing. Not like pity or sadness or fear for others. That's too big a topic when I'm at the end of the segment. I might save that for Monday, but maybe on Monday I'll make the topic love, and I'll talk about what I think love is. Because that is a really big topic, and I'm trying not to go 2 hours every time I do these. So let's move on, okay? Aw, amen to that. Thanks, Meta. Okay, so here we go. We're going to the next segment. Creative space, 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 space. Okay, so creative space is, oh, I need a new filter. We'll walk and get a new filter. Creative space. Ooh, that's a cat. Ooh, I like this bunny, I think. No, wait, I don't like the bunny. Sorry, filters. Filter life. Hashtag filter life. Let's see. Don't think I like that one. I think I have to wait until it loads. It's not loading. I've tried that one and it's not good. There's some art I like. You can look at my teddy bear in a basket while I pick a filter. Come on, filters. Let's just do this one. It's pretty simple, but mostly I just need to show you a video. So for today, I know I've spent the entire week using this creative space segment in trying to show you a sneak peek of my music video, and now it's already Friday, and so I'm gonna probably release the music video this weekend. So it's my doodle music video. It's the first time I've ever done a doodle video that is for one of my songs. I've done 2 doodle videos that were like feelings talks like this, but never done one for one of my songs. So it's the first time, and it looks like I had it all queued up and it crashed. So let's see if it's even gonna work on us. It is not. You're kidding me. Come on. I worked so hard to get this ready for you. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm dealing with this. Oh, in the meantime, you can look at this hat my sister bought me at a time when I didn't have money that I wanted to spend, and She was visiting, and she's like, well, I'll buy it for you because it's cute. This is a long time ago, but I love it. Okay. Oh, it's going! Okay. We already played that part yesterday. Maybe I'll just let it play. All right, sneak peek time. No! It's gonna crash. I can hear it. Come on. Well, maybe it's not meant to be. Okay, maybe this is just a time I should tell you about my YouTube channel. So, if you go on YouTube and you just type in Jessica in the Rainbow, it will, wow, I can't believe my computer is this sad lately. Well, this computer has been with me since a long time. Oh, okay, I'll try closing that. I don't know why it doesn't want to work anymore, but this computer has been with me through like multiple year-long challenges and thousands of songs and Anyway, so go if you want to this weekend, or maybe I'll show the clip next on Monday. Oops, why'd I go on there? That is not where I meant to go. But if you go to, oh no, I closed it. This really is not meant to be. Well, I did show a sneak peek yesterday, so if you're really curious about this music video and absolutely can't wait until it's released tomorrow or Sunday, if you really can't wait, then you can go to yesterday's, and I did finish the timestamps. Again, go to YouTube, search Jessica in the Rainbow on YouTube, and they'll come up. They're my most recent videos. It'll just say JiTR in Rainbowland, and you go to the Creative Space segment, dun, 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 and it'll show you this music video, and you won't have to just sit and watch a live stream of my computer crashing all week every time I get to this segment. This is so sad. I guess the other thing I could say is if you like donating to artists, I could slowly start a fund for a new computer, and maybe after doing like, I don't know, 500 or 1,000 of these shows, eventually I could save up $1 each time someone donates, and I could get a new computer. Oh my goodness. Okay. Not meant to be. I had that all pulled up and ready to go. So, we're going to go on to the next segment. The next segment today, oh, spiritual stuff. Let's show you. Spiritual stuff. Okay, so the spiritual stuff segment, sometimes I forgot that sometimes in the creative space segment, which is the one that was supposed to just be happening right now, sometimes in that segment I do write a song. I did that for the first few days. But I really didn't like in the middle of the show, if I wasn't in the mood to write a song, being forced to suddenly write a song if I was feeling a lot of intensity. So, I no longer do that. I'll do it if I want to, but I'm not forcing myself to write a song. Today's spiritual stuff segment is all about God. Capital G God, as I understand God. And what I wanted to say about that today is that you don't have to have any, I'm just going to read this because I'm stressed to suddenly talk about God while my lyric music video is over here telling me it's crashing and my computer is dying and it's angry at me and my life's work is in my computer and I'm just feeling a lot right now and it's frustrating. It's working. I guess I could show it to you. Okay, fine. We're going back a segment. We're back to creative space. Woo! All right. This is a sneak peek of my music video. All right, there you go. That was a sneak peek of my little doodle music video. Semi-lyric music video coming up. Yeah, so that's the creative space segment. It's just a reminder to you in this show, the creative space segment in this show. Welcome. Hi to anyone who just joined us. The whole point of this creative space segment, thank you, is to remind you to use your life, to use your time, to make your own things. Like if you don't have money, like I don't have much money, like I could sit around and wait and beg people to help me make professional music videos. I've had one made, but it was also with like students at film school, and they were doing it for free. So like, if you don't have money, like there are different ways to creatively use your life. Or if you do have money, but you don't feel like you have other things that you feel that you need to make your dreams come true, like you could also just start to creatively do it. Think outside the box. Think of what resources you do have and what community you do have around you, and just, start to create the things you want to create with your life, and it's really fun. All right, that's creative space. Next, back to, because I know I tried to start this segment, and then my music video started working again. Thanks, Meta. Aw. Aw. Okay, so here we go, spiritual stuff. So, oh boy. So spiritual stuff, this is just the part of the show where I talk to you about spiritual stuff. It's very self-explanatory. And I know I talk about spiritual stuff sometimes in the book report. I talk about it sometimes in Feeling Your Feelings. I talk about it sometimes in the present. I just realized now that I forgot to get present. I skipped the present. That's what felt funny. Okay, we're going to do it right now together. The present. I don't know how I'm going to timestamp this show because I keep jumping all over the place. So the present is the part of the show where I just teach you and or remind you how to get present. There are so many different ways to do this. There's no one right way. There's no one size fits all. Some people cannot get present in ways that books will swear to you work for everybody, or maybe they're not meaning to, but they just seem that way because they're very didactic or authoritarian, like this is how you meditate or something. It doesn't work for everybody. One idea that I've read is, you just take deep breaths, focus your mind on your breathing, and if you notice yourself thinking, just label a thought thinking and come back to your breath. Or your tummy grumbling. Now that doesn't work as well for me as it does for some people. I started noticing the birds chirping. So, that's not me thinking, that's just me hearing it. And that works for me. That actually helps me get present. I hear my computer humming because it's kind of getting old. Hang in there, buddy. I become aware of like what I can feel in my body. That actually helps me get present. It brings me right now to this moment. If I decide to do it with my eyes open, I become aware of the color in the room, patterns, textures. Sometimes I say I do this like by pretending I'm a 1-year-old, where you don't have the ability to get up and move and you're just stuck. And 1-year-olds are either peaceful or they're crying, right? And you just sit there and you just take it in. I mean, they feel other things too, I'm sure. But I think it's a very different experience because you don't have the ability to just get up and walk out of the room and change your mind and use your life. Like your life is just where you are stuck being. So you just look around the room. I think for me, that's my idea of why when I was 1 year old or 2 or 3, why so many of those things stuck with me and feel so meaningful. It's like, imagine, you're a little kid and you're put to bed and you're not tired. Like, of course you're going to just sit and stare at and or touch and feel and wonder about your rainbow bedspread that your mom made you, which turned into being like a theme of my life. And I think I've shown it in a past show. I have this like yellow gingham-looking checkered, but very softly checkered. You can barely see it's checkered. It just looks like solid yellow bedspread with an embroidered, not felt. I don't know what it is. It's like a fabric sewn on like a rainbow, and it's just on there. this giant fabric rainbow on my bedspread. And so for all I know, it's from a very young age, what else do I have to think about? You're looking around the room, you're told to stay in bed, you're a rule follower, you're doing what you're told, and you're just laying in bed thinking about what? You know, what do you have to think about? What problems do you have other than you don't feel like being in bed right then? So you just, and if you're just joining us, these are like meditation techniques. It really does help. You can kind of just imagine. You use like your own memory of childhood or just an imaginary fantasy of what being a child again would feel like. And you just lay there and you just, that's it. There's nothing to do. There's nothing to do except just like study and or look at the things around you. And maybe that's why, like I said earlier in the show, why I believe it's so important to surround yourself with things that bring you joy. Since making this show, only 8 episodes, I was going to say 8 days ago, 8 episodes ago, so less than 2 weeks ago, I have noticed more the clutter in my house that doesn't bring me joy. And so I'm trying to be more conscious of that. Like I used to feel bad taking a